I chose to have a surgery in Australia because it was more affordable here instead of flying back home to India and having it done there, and my dad went absolutely ballistic on me, saying I must think I'm too good for them now and don't care about family anymore, and cut contact with me. Posted by you/just_bro_zing_. I, 25F, have been living in Australia for the last 4 years. Last month I fractured my hand and had to get surgery. My parents wanted me to take sick leave and come to India to get it fixed. Their reasoning: it'd be very expensive to get it fixed here, and that it would be easier to have someone to take care of me. I understand their concern, but I wanted to be able to fix things where possible. I suggested I talk to the doctors and explore my options before I decide to fly to India. After talking to doctors, I realized that it was cheaper to stay here and get the surgery, as my insurance covered most of it. I didn't want to go to India for various reasons. First, I want to have the chance to try and fix things by myself wherever possible. Second, I had some major changes happening at work, and I wanted to be around for that. And lastly, my father has been looking into various marriage proposals for me, even though I have made it abundantly clear that I don't want an arranged marriage. I've been planning on telling them about my non-Indian boyfriend and didn't want to be there until I'd done that. Also, I came back from India after a month-long vacation in November, so it's not like I hadn't seen them in a long time. When I called up my father to tell him that I want to get the surgery done here, he blew up. He screamed at me for 10 minutes, saying things like, "You have absolutely zero sense in you. You just always assume that you know best. Just because you got a little bit of money you think you can handle everything yourself. Of course you don't even care if we're dead or alive. You'd rather cut all contact with your family because you prefer this independent life. We don't have any right to take care of our own family members now. Yeah, sure, stay with people there that you call friends because they're above your family to you now. And ultimately, let us know if you even want us in your life anymore." And he blocked me after that. This was 4 weeks ago. I got the surgery done, haven't heard from them at all. I called my mother 3 times and she hasn't picked up. My brother is getting mad at me that I'm not making more of an effort to reach out to them, but honestly, I'm furious too now. They had concerns about me getting my surgery done here, and I got solutions to their concerns. They still insisted I come to India, which just makes me believe that all they care about is control. They wanted me in India to ease my life, but when I decided to get the surgery done here, they did not hesitate to put additional stress on me. Also, it's their anniversary in a couple of days and I might not get a chance to wish them. I'm working hard to be a strong, independent woman, and I want to have the best relationship with my parents. But I am just afraid that having that kind of relationship would come with me having a lot less control over my life. Am I the jerk for not giving that up? /relevant comments. Commenter: not the jerk. You're absolutely right, this is a control thing, and it seems like your parents can't stand you wanting an independent life. They likely viewed this as a way of getting you back in the country to try and gain control over your life again. Your dad's reaction is the classic reaction of someone who needs control and is having it taken away from them. Don't succumb to the pressure here, up. You should live your life the way you want to, not the way that your parents expect you to. Commenter 2. Not the jerk. For all the reasons the other posts have said. But I do wonder if your family wanted you to come home for another reason. Like marriage. And possibly had various suitors lined up for you. Your father would have found it difficult to explain that you had made your own decision to stay for medical treatment and not do as you were told. Traditional Indian parents and arranging marriages are a tough thing to work around. Good luck on the non-Indian boyfriend. That will be a tough one for them to accept. Commenter 3. I'd also be concerned about going back to India at all, to be honest. My friend, 10 years ago, went home and wasn't allowed to return. She was married the day after she landed, and had her passport destroyed. This man was older, abusive, and controlling. It took her 4 years and careful planning with me, our close friends. She's back in the UK now for nearly 6 years, and is too traumatized to even think of a relationship, and has been in therapy 4 years now. She's such an amazing woman. Adds an edit to her post. Wow, this blew up. I wasn't expecting this post to reach so many people. Thank you so much, everyone, for your comments, I really appreciate it. I'm going through them and I'll try to reply to all, but it might just be a little slow. I saw a lot of comments suggesting that they might marry me off when I go back. I don't think they can force me into a marriage, and surely any self-respecting guy wouldn't want to marry someone who doesn't want him? I don't know anymore. I just knew that there would be a lot of emotional drama, manipulation, and whatnot when I refused to look at the potential suitors, and I didn't want to be there in such a vulnerable condition dealing with that. Update 2 years 8 months later. I, 28F, Indian, am so exhausted from fighting. I'm writing this on my phone in a very emotional state, so apologies if it isn't well formatted or isn't very well written. 3 years ago, I made a post about how my family stopped talking to me because I didn't travel back to my home country to get my surgery done. Well, things never really got better. I started talking to them maybe a year after my surgery when they reached out, and it wasn't great. All we did was fight, and any cordial conversations were conversations of no value, essentially just limited to how's work going, what did you eat, blah blah blah. Last year, they showed up in Australia out of the blue, and I didn't handle that well. My partner and I met them, but suffice it to say they weren't very happy. Coming back to today, I came to visit them in India, with my partner staying with us for a week and then 2 weeks without him. They were adamant they only wanted to spend time with me. I was keen to work on the relationship because I do want to get married and have the option to have potential kids, and I can't really / don't want to do that without them involved in my life. I'm dating an Australian guy, 28M, who I've been in a relationship with for over 5 years. They made an excuse so we couldn't stay with them together, but they met up with us for lunch the day my partner was leaving. Ever since I've started staying with them, they started talking about how I should extend my trip. I've made it very clear that I can't, and I've had multiple fights with them over this. One of them was when my dad started talking about how I'm essentially filth, and I live in filth, and he can't believe he's been loving filth this entire time. They've been taking me around to relatives and didn't let me leave the day I had my return ticket. I've cried so much talking to them, but apparently, the plan always is what they want from me. They've said I'm not allowed to leave anymore because apparently, I've become a very negative person, and they are worried about me. They have said that the Australian chapter is closed for me, and I'm staying here from now on. I'm so scared, and I really don't know how to deal with this situation, and I'm looking for advice from anyone at all. I want to leave, but I'm worried they're going to stand guard at the door from now on and won't let me walk out. My brother is physically bigger and stronger than me, and he isn't on my side either. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. You are an adult. A quick Google of Indian laws shows that holding you there against your will is a violation of the Indian Penal Code. So call your local law enforcement, explain your situation, and have them escort you out the door and over to the airport. If your birth family is violently opposed to your relationship, there is no way they are ever going to agree to a wedding, so you have no reason to keep them in your life anymore. Go back to Australia where you will be safe from them, and when you're ready, marry your boyfriend in a civil ceremony. Up to you on whether you notify your family after the fact or simply go no contact. I'm sorry, but ultimately you need to do what feels best for your own authentic adult life. Allowing yourself to stay trapped in your birth family's home, until they can marry you off to someone they select, does not sound like something you want. Remember, this is the only life you're ever going to get. Ops response. Thank you. I've been too disturbed to think rationally and just wanted to seek advice from other people because calling cops seemed too extreme. But my aunt has threatened to tear my passport or lodge an FIR against me for a made-up reason, so I'll be tangled in court cases and won't be able to leave. I'm just really scared to do this alone here, but I guess I have to. Commenter 2. Will the cops take this type of call seriously? Or will they treat it as a family matter, even though it's illegal? If you think this might happen, you should rather contact a women's shelter. Also, ensure that your partner knows exactly what's going on and keep the messages as a record of how your family has treated you, in case it's needed in future. Ops response. That's the other thing I'm worried about. Family relationships trump everything else in India, and I don't know to what extent it extends to cops as well. I've emailed a women's shelter, but I don't have an Indian number and haven't been able to make the calls. Up to another commenter. I can enable roaming, and then hopefully make calls. Booking Uber would be fine, but it would be good to have a way to make calls if needed. I honestly don't care about money at this point. I also have an eSIM that only has data, so I can still access internet. Commenter 3. This post is so confusing. I don't understand how exactly they are preventing you from leaving. Are you locked in a room or something? You have access to the phone and internet. Hopefully you have your passport. Book a ticket yourself or ask your partner to book it for you and walk out of that damn door. Unless you are physically tied to a bedpost in a locked room, I am not able to grasp what the issue is here. You are a grown adult. Why are you seeking their permission to leave? Also, we have 24 hours in a day. Your brother is not going to spend the entire time guarding you. It will take you 2 minutes to grab your necessary documents and reach the front door. Ops response. I know for a fact that if I walk out with bags, they will physically stop me, and I don't know what other consequences there would be to that once they know I want to walk out. The only thing I can do is leave without bags, and I'd probably have to do that. Up to another commenter. I've been holding my passport, my visa, and my credit cards on me at all times. I'm worried my father can escalate things further because I never expected things to turn out this way, and they did. My boyfriend can book tickets for me for sure, but he's not in the country, so his involvement will be limited. Commenter 4. Pretend like you are running to the corner shop for something, jump in a taxi to the airport, and never look back. Just leave everything there. You can always buy new clothes, etc. Take your phone, passport, and purse. I just saw your post from a couple of years ago. This family is terrible and abusive, and you need to get as far away from them as possible as quickly as possible. Ops response. Thank you for commenting. My boyfriend has said the same thing. He said everything is replaceable, but my safety has to be the top priority. I really want to get back to my safe space somehow, which is with my boyfriend in Australia. Commenter 5. Do you have Australian citizenship? Ops response. Nope, unfortunately not. Otherwise, I could imagine the Australian embassy being a lot more involved. Second update 5 days later. Thank you everyone for all your concerns, suggestions, and for giving me hope. I didn't want to update sooner because it struck me very late that there is a small possibility my brother uses Reddit. The chances of him coming across this post were slim, but I didn't want to risk anything. In short, I ended up running away from home. I'm still contemplating if the decision I took was too extreme for the situation, but I think I'll go crazy if I go down that rabbit hole. A couple of friends of mine had a friend, who I met last month but was hesitant to reach out to because he was a fairly recent friend, in a town 3 hours away, so my boyfriend and my friends planned my getaway. I was constantly surrounded by my relatives, parents to plan things, but for everyone reading I am of sound mind, and the decision to do this was mine alone. I snuck out the night we came back home from my relatives on the pretext of going for a walk, but I know they'd probably have found out not too long after I left. My friend was waiting in his car close to my place, and he drove me to the airport. It was perfect because booking a cab would have had issues with timing. I didn't know when would be a good time to sneak out, so having a friend around gave me the flexibility to sneak out at my own convenience. The priority was getting out of the country as soon as possible without even knowing what the best way was to get to Australia. This was also crazy timing with the Indigo fiasco. Editor's note, this is regarding the Indigo airline and flight disruptions, not sure if it helped or hurt our chances? I could only do this because of the immense support from my friends back home who spent a lot of time planning the routes and booking the flights for me, so as to not arouse any suspicions from my family and very little time for them to act. I've had messages from them and a few calls. All I've done is message them that it was my decision to leave and list a couple of points on why, and that I'd be keen to work on the relationship if they can try to come around to my life choices. Thank you everyone again, and especially to people who reached out to make sure I'm doing okay. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm really happy for you, but I have to say you are being naive about your family and the prospects of any future relationship with them. They have shown you ample proof that they don't care about your happiness and well-being. They trapped you in their home with the intention of destroying the happy life you made for yourself in Australia, your boyfriend, your job, your friends, everything you worked so hard to achieve. I think it's very likely that they would have forced you into an arranged marriage if you had stayed there and not had the support to plan your escape. If you ever return to India and place yourself in their power again, you will be in serious danger. They now know that you want to be free, and in the future they will ensure you are completely trapped. They may pretend to accept your life choices and use that to trick you. It's a very personal decision whether you want to go low contact or no contact with your family, but I hope you are aware that you can no longer have the same level of trust in them. I wish you all the very best for the future. Commenter 2. There is no relationship to work on, and they've shown you they will never come around to your life choices. If they ever convince you to visit them or meet with them, you'll never be heard from again. Please cut contact with them completely, and be happy with the family you make for yourself in Australia. If you ever feel the pull to contact or see them, come back to read your posts in the comments, and remember what they did and how trapped you felt. That wouldn't be the worst thing they could do to you if they ever got you back. Adds an edit to her post. Thanks to everyone who has been following my story and for all of the support here. I know there has been a lot of backlash in the comments around me wanting to work on the relationship, and I just want to be clear that it doesn't mean I'll be going back to India in the next few years or ever putting myself in a situation where I would be face to face by myself. And even then, they would have to put in significant work to earn back my trust. This would need to happen over the phone, and I'm going to be taking any apology with a grain of salt. And I'm not hearing them out on anything other than an apology anytime soon. My partner and I agree that throwing away the relationship that I've had for the past 28 years of my life is a really big step. Now that I've gotten out, they have lost a lot of the power they once had. Now that we have the advantage in the situation, we want to show some level of mercy, and this is just because they can't do anything in this country from a legal perspective. Just to be clear, Showing mercy does not mean meeting them. It just means I'm willing to hear them out only over calls. Even if they show up to Australia, as is their right, we're not scared. Last time they dropped in unannounced, they walked around town without knowing where we were for days. And we're more confident in the legal protection we have here. I'll be seeing a therapist soon, because since getting back I haven't been sleeping the best. I've been having dreams every night that I'm still trapped and have no way of getting out. This has been a big ordeal, and I'm not going to pretend that I'll be fine without professional help. We'll be dropping an email to the Indian Embassy letting them know that I've left of my own will, and any potential complaints coming from India are fabricated.